Using visual strategies to support individuals with autism spectrum disorders, a podcast created by Angela Mann and Katrina Ressa. There are many ways that you can use visual supports in your home. First, we often use visual supports to help your child complete tasks and to help them predict their day. Another way to use visual supports is to convey your expectations to your child and to help your child understand language. Finally, visual supports can be used to help manage your child's behavior and to teach your child new skills. Here are some of the visual supports we'll talk about today in this podcast. First, we'll discuss visual schedules, including daily schedules, play schedules, and turn-taking schedules. Next, we'll discuss visual prompts, including timers and the ring of directions. We'll also talk about visual task analysis, first then boards, choice boards, and finally visual supports for assistance. Visual schedules. The visual schedule assists children with understanding expectations and the day's events. It helps to have a routine established for checking in with the schedule throughout the day. The visuals are typically not numbered to allow for user flexibility. This way, the pictures can be arranged, added to, or omitted according to your family's needs. Some children may need a photograph version to understand the schedule, while others will do okay with clip art or symbols. Try both out with your child to see which they respond better to. Pictures can be cut out, laminated, and placed on a strip of laminated cardstock or poster board to form a horizontal or vertical sequence of steps for the child to follow. It's best to pick one type and stick with that so as to not confuse your child. As your child completes activities, they can turn over the picture to indicate that the activity is all done, or place it in an envelope attached to the schedule at the bottom. So here's an example of a visual schedule you might see in your child's school. So you see along the left-hand side is a vertical strip where all of the activities can be placed. As your child finishes the activity, the icon or picture can be taken off of the schedule and placed in the finished envelope. This is one example of a way to address having multiple schedules throughout the day. So oftentimes teachers will put several different schedules within a binder, one for the morning, one for the afternoon, and let's say one for the evening if you're in the home. These can be put on different laminated file folder sheets and placed within the binder for easy access. This is an example of a play schedule. So many parents often ask about their child's play skills and note that they have difficulty independently playing for long periods of time. The visual play schedule helps to show the child all of the different activities available to them and to show them the different activities you'd like for them to complete within their independent play time. You may first have to teach your child how to complete each of these activities. This is also called the turn-taking schedule. So let's say that you have multiple siblings in their home and they're all lining up to use the computer. The turn-taking schedule helps to show each child whose turn it currently is and whose turn is coming up. Now let's talk about visual prompts. Visual prompts can be subtle cues or reminders to your child, and they can help to signal when an activity is ending, but also to give simple directions or reminders. Visual prompts or visual supports of this type can also help to support your child's sense of being able to predict what's going on in their environment. Here's a visual prompt that you all probably have in your home already, the timer. So let's say in addition to the turn-taking schedule, we could set the timer to show each child how much time they have left before they need to transition off of the computer, for example. Timers can also be used to signal the end of an activity, such as, let's say, dinner, to help the child predict how much time they have left to complete their meal. Here's an example of a visual prompt for directions. You can see here that this picture reminds the child that they need to sit. So in addition to your verbal directions, providing this visual prompt might help to support their language. This ring of directions is one way of taking these directions out into the community with you. So let's say that you're in the library and you need to remind your child that it's time for quiet voice. Having a picture and being able to subtly prompt them with that picture may be more successful than continually reminding them verbally, depending on your child's receptive language or ability to understand language. Now let's talk about visual task analysis. Your child may struggle with remembering all of the steps within one activity. The visual task analysis provides step-by-step directions with pictures for what needs to be done. This helps to give your child greater independence and builds what we call behavioral momentum. So in other words, once they're successful with one activity, it kind of gets them going and ready for that next activity and almost primes them for being successful. This is an example of a visual task analysis for brushing teeth. You can see that as the child completes each step, they can check that off with a dry erase marker. Another way to do this would be to cut out and laminate each of these steps individually and Velcro them to the board. As your child completes the steps, they can take them off the board and place them in an envelope or Ziploc baggie at the bottom of the visual schedule or sequence. This is a visual task analysis for getting ready in the morning. So first I put on underwear, then shorts, then my shirt, then shoes and socks. So as your child completes each step in the sequence, they can flip the picture over. You see the Velcro on the top of the picture. This is a visual schedule for the potty. This is probably already in your child's classroom and helps your child to be more independent when using the potty by providing them with each of the steps that need to be completed. It's just a nice visual reminder of what they need to be doing when they're in the potty. Now let's talk about first-then boards. First-then boards give children clear expectations and help to motivate and assist them with task completion. Place a picture of the activity or activities the child needs to complete under first. Then place a picture of the rewarding or preferred activity or object under then. The first-then format allows the child to focus on the current activity and rewarding activity without distraction. You're also communicating to your child that you understand what they want and that they can have that item when they finish what they need to get done. Here's an example of a first-then board. So first we use the potty, wash our hands, and then we get snack. You can see that they've placed the Velcro at the top of the picture so that as the child completes each activity, they can simply flip them over to show that they're all done. This is an example of a first-then board you might see in your classroom. So using colors in the background to distinguish first and then separately. So first work time, then we get to pack up. Now let's talk about choice boards. Choice boards can be used when you're unsure of what your child wants or when what they want is no longer available. Choice boards provide available choices to your child, which again is going to increase their independence and build up that behavioral momentum we were talking about earlier. This is an example of a choice board for play activities. So some children may do okay with 6 different choices, whereas others might be more successful when only given 2 choices. It's best to try this out with your child to see what they respond better to. So once the child has selected their choice, they place it at the Velcro up at the top to indicate I want. This is a choice board for movies. So you can think about using choice boards in a number of different locations in your home. maybe at the snack drawer, maybe next to the TV, maybe in their play area. Finally, let's talk about visual supports for assistance. There are times when your child may have difficulty expressing their needs, which can lead to frustration and at times challenging behaviors. Assistance prompts help your child to communicate things like when they need a break, when they need help, or when they need to use the restroom. Here are two examples. So you see here the help card on the left and the break card on the right. It may help your child to have pictures in addition to these different symbols. You might also have to teach your child at first. Boy, it looks like you need a break. Here's your break card. Give me your break card. So that they understand that when they need a break, they can give you this card to exchange for that break. Here's another example of a break card. So at the top, or maybe the front of the break card, it says, I'm feeling upset. I need to calm down. What do I do? And on the back, or maybe the bottom of the card, it says all of the different steps they go through when they take their break. So I can take deep breaths, I can count to 5, I can use my break card and go to a quiet place. Again, this will take teaching and needs to be used with a child who is literate and can read the card. That's our podcast for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me, Angela Mann, at angelamann@gmail.com. Thank you.